Have you ever wondered if the advice you're following for getting in shape at your age is wrong? Well, a lot of it is, and it's holding you back. You're not alone in this struggle. Getting in shape between 35 and 45 isn't about turning into some gym obsessed lunatic who meal preps dry chicken 6 months in advance. You're not too old, and you don't need to train like a Navy SEAL in a caffeine fueled rampage. Trying to outwork bad habits is precisely how most guys burn out. Get injured or end up eating half a pizza at midnight, whispering, "I'll start fresh on Monday." You can sigh in relief knowing that extreme measures are not the answer. So let's cut through the BS. I've spent years testing what works and what doesn't to get in shape after 35. I've made mistakes, fallen for bad advice, and learned the hard way so that you don't have to. This isn't just another fitness guide, it's a blueprint built from experience and grounded in facts and science. By learning from my mistakes, you can feel empowered and confident about your fitness journey. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Henry Ford. What is the most significant mistake guys make? Trying to train like they did in their 20s. We've had a few more birthdays and backaches, and our knees now make sounds they didn't make before. Mindset is the most significant shift you can make as you mature. I remember being in my 20s, having no cares in the world, and having abs year round. Yes, I played sports and worked out, but there was a lot of room for error. I trained like the pro bodybuilders I saw online or in fitness magazines, and I copied the workouts. And oftentimes, my post-workout meals were 4 Big Macs, a supersized fry, and a Coke. When I approached my mid-20s, those methods were far from achieving the same results. So I started studying. I learned some prominent points about the mindset that can empower your fitness journey. Effort without strategy is wasted. Shorter, high-intensity workouts beat marathon sessions, which leave you limping for a week. The Arnold era of bodybuilding, named after the legendary bodybuilder and actor Arnold Schwarzenegger, was a period in the 1970s when bodybuilding gained widespread popularity. The pros I used to idolize from that era and shortly after had these impressive, grueling workouts that earned respect. When I was working out and growing up, I really tried to make my workouts 2 to 3 hours if I could, both because of kids, work, and simply recovery. I couldn't make that work anymore when I reached my mid-30s, and instead I aimed to tear a muscle down as efficiently as possible, get back to my family, and let recovery do its work. Plus, you don't grow in the gym, your gains come from the recovery. Rest isn't weakness, it's strategy. Walking like a robot after leg day is not a flex. It's a sign you're taking your recovery seriously because you deserve to feel your best every day. See, fitness is a long game. In my youth, I could hold on to gains easily. That never showed up, and I didn't even get crazy sore after an epic workout. As I got older, those same workouts left me feeling constantly wrecked. My motivation faded, workouts felt like punishment, and I would lose interest in going to the gym. I started prioritizing recovery. Next, I noticed the guys who make the most progress aren't the ones who go all out every gym session, but they're the ones who show up week after week, month after month without burnout. Small efforts repeated daily. A realistic plan always beats the balls to the wall approach. This is best approached by asking yourself what you can and will do to achieve your fitness goals. My dad always told me it's better to make it to the gym and plan to sit in a sauna than to not go at all. And I took that to heart. And believe it or not, the times I would just go to the sauna and just sit there, I would often end up having one of my better workouts by the time it was all done. Small efforts repeated daily include the stairs instead of the elevator, doing a few push-ups during a work break, or just, choosing an healthy option for a meal or a snack. When repeated daily, these small efforts can contribute significantly to your fitness goals, giving you a sense of progress and achievement. Your key takeaway mindset here is you're not trying to just destroy yourself in the gym. You're training in a way your body actually responds to. Take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live. Jim Rohn. Hormones control everything: metabolism, energy, fat loss, muscle retention, and motivation. Ignore them, and you're making fat loss 10 times harder. I started learning about gut health 5 years ago when COVID was the top headline. We were all stuck at home, sitting on our phones and computers, and immune health drove me to learn more about the subject. And while it's true that 70% of your immune system or more is in your gut really equals everything. Gut health refers to the balance of the microorganisms in the digestive tract. These microorganisms are crucial in digestion, metabolism, and immune function. Your gut runs the show. Poor gut health wrecks energy, fat loss, and recovery. For the longest time, I thought gut health was just some trendy buzzword until I started diving into research from the top experts in the field. Your gut health isn't just about digestion, it affects everything from energy levels to muscle recovery. So I went all in. I started eating probiotic rich foods like kefir and kimchi, which contain live beneficial bacteria. I upped my fiber intake and cut back on processed junk. I even went like mad scientist and made my own yogurt at home because nothing says dedicated to gains like fermenting milk in your kitchen. But the biggest game changer, managing stress and getting quality sleep, it significantly affected the gut bacteria balance. Once I dialed it in, I noticed like fundamental changes, better digestion, more energy, a way better recovery after workouts. So lesson learned, your gut runs the show. So feed it right. Testosterone declines naturally. Strength training, sleep, and whole foods optimize it. I'll keep this as short as possible because there are two main paths optimizing your natural testosterone or talking to your doctor about TRT. So it's testosterone replacement therapy is one path. Regardless of your route, improving your lifestyle will minimize the replacement that you need. Something I can personally attest to, at one point my testosterone levels had dropped below 350 and I felt terrible without knowing why. Eventually I saw my doctor and I started a TRT, which did help. Still, I only needed like 75 milligrams weekly to reach my optimal levels because I optimized my lifestyle once I'd lost weight and such. I mean, what do I mean by optimization? Everything that we've discussed so far plays a role, but maintaining a healthy body fat percentage, 10 to 15%, getting enough vitamin D3, ditching junk food, and reducing plastic exposure, and limiting alcohol, of course. These small changes significantly affect how you feel and perform. Get your blood work done. Check your hormonal balance if you feel sluggish or unmotivated or weak. This one just speaks for itself and doesn't need much clarification, but go see your doctor regularly. I see my general practitioner every 3 months, and I just do a routine blood work to see where everything is. Key takeaway, you just can't optimize fitness without optimizing gut and hormonal balance. Discipline equals freedom. Jocko Willink. If fat loss were easy, we'd all walk around with six packs and a superhero jawline. But the real challenge isn't just losing fat, it's keeping your muscles while you're doing it. Most guys get this part wrong. Once your mindset is locked in and your gut health is dialed in, the next priority is cutting fat while preserving the muscle. And that takes more than just eating less and moving more. It requires a strategy. So here's how to do it right so you don't look weak, depleted, and miserable. First off is caloric shortfall. Well, we must eat fewer calories than we burn. It's simple math, but starving yourself is an awful plan. I make this process as easy as possible by using a calorie tracking app and meal prepping most of my meals on my slowest day of the week. I use the free version of Lose It on Apple, but there's plenty of other apps that work just as well, so just find one that suits you. We'll dive deeper into nutrition in the next segment, but for now, here's what you need to know. Get a food scale. It's a game changer. And remember, long-term consistency. It matters more than short-term perfection. So, plan ahead for dining out and the occasional cheat meal, but don't stress yourself out trying to be flawless. Sustainability beats burnout every time. So strength training, preserve your muscle and stay strong. If you're not lifting, you're just losing weight. You're not shaping your body. Strength training signals to your body that muscle is still a priority. So increasing my workout frequency while in a deficit, it helps me burn more calories and preserve muscle compared to my bulking routine, which focuses on higher calorie intake and more rest. This approach has allowed me to lean while maintaining much of my gained strength and muscle. Next is manage caloric reduction. Aim for about 0.5 to 1.5% of your body weight loss per week for sustainable results. If you want a moderate, sustainable fat loss approach, aim for a 500 to 600 calorie deficit per day. Typically results in about a pound of weight loss per week. To get this point, you must first determine your basal metabolic rate. That's the number of calories your body burns at rest. And then you just multiply that by your activity level. And don't stress, there's plenty of online calculators and calorie tracking apps like Lose It. They can do the math for you. For example, my maintenance calories after a bulk usually sit around 3,600. So I start my cut at around 3,000 calories daily, and then I just adjust like weekly based on my progress. Protein is your muscle's best friend. 1.8 to 3 grams per kilogram of body weight daily keeps muscles intact while cutting. This is easy for me because I love protein and it's my favorite food group, but guess what? Your muscles love it even more. Protein is the building block your body uses to repair and grow muscle, and as a bonus, it burns calories just by being digested. So here's the deal. Protein has a thermic effect on food, a TEF, of about 20 to 30%, which means 20 to 30% of the calories from protein are burned during digestion. Yep, you get to eat and burn calories simultaneously. For comparison sake, carbs are only like 5 to 10% of their calories are burned off, and fats is like a measly 0 to 3%. So basically, when you eat fats, your body stores it like a squirrel hoarding nuts for winter. The example breakdown would be eat 1,000 calories of protein and you're going to absorb about 700 to 800 calories, because 200 to 300 of those calories are being burned off just from digestion. Whereas like with carbs, you eat 1,000 and you're going to absorb about 900 to 950 because the rest is being burned. But when you eat fat, you're pretty much absorbing all of it. So yeah, protein fuels your gains and gives your metabolism a little extra boost. What is the moral of the story? Eat your protein. Your muscles and your calorie burn will thank you. Next is just smart cardio. More isn't always better. Back in my track days when I was younger, I was all about speed, and sprinting was the thing. I love the explosive power, the adrenaline, just the blasting off at the starting blocks. If you ask me to go for a long run, forget it. I loathe steady state cardio with every fiber of my being. Running just for the sake of running, no thanks. Fast forward though to when I got serious about fat loss and I had to face a hard truth. Cardio was necessary, but the way I had been looking at it was all wrong. Instead of grinding out mind-numbing miles, I found a more intelligent, sustainable approach that worked without making me miserable. So here's what I do now. I do low intensity cardio, walking or cycling for 30 to 45 minutes daily. It's easy on the joints, keeps recovery in check, and it steadily burns fat without tanking my energy. It's also the best time to catch up on my phone notifications, emails, and just YouTube videos and such. I also do a couple of high intensity sprints or like hit sessions per week, and this lets me tap back into that sprint mentality again, and it allows me to go all out without overdoing it during the week. I never try to do this stuff before lifting, just because I learned that burning myself out with cardio before hitting the weights meant that my lifts would be worse and it was worse muscle retention. So now strength comes first and cardio comes second. But like once I dialed in this approach, cardio went from something that I dreaded to a key tool in my fat loss arsenal. I wasn't running to suffer anymore. I was using it strategically to shed fat while keeping my muscle and energy levels intact. Key takeaway here is just strength training plus a controlled diet equals fat loss without looking like a deflated balloon. Next is nutrition. Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. Hippocrates. So now let's talk about food. Without proper nutrition, your workouts are just expensive sweating. So let's break it down. We've covered how much food you should eat, but what should you eat? And more importantly, how do you stick to it without driving yourself crazy? Again, protein first, because your muscles love it and your body needs more as you age. Remember earlier when I said like 1.8 to 3 grams per kilogram of body weight daily, that keeps the muscles intact while cutting? Well, as you age, your body becomes less efficient at using protein, meaning you need more to prevent muscle loss and support recovery and keep your metabolism firing. So if you're 35 to 45, aim for 1.8 to 2.2 grams per kilograms. Less if you're younger, even more if you're older than that. Also, eliminate empty calories. So processed foods, sugars, deep fried sadness are wrecking your progress. In my younger years, I could eat a fast food meal after a workout and feel fine, or at least so I thought. But as I got older, it became painfully apparent that like the greasy hamburgers or fries weren't just fueling my workouts and inflammation, but also brain fog and a sluggish body. After some doctor visits and testing, I even discovered that I had a gluten and dairy allergy, which only confirmed what my gut had been screaming at me for years. In simple terms, processed foods, sugar, and vegetable oils, they set your body, immune system, and brain up for failure. They throw your gut microbiome out of balance, making you the perfect host for everything from nutritional deficiencies to parasites. And yes, really, I'm not saying that you gotta be a saint. I mean, like, I still enjoy my mead, but instead of processed junk loaded with artificial ingredients, I'd sip on something fermented and natural, made with real honey and packed with compounds that in moderation aren't wrecking my system like fast food used to. And if you're gonna have an indulgence, at least make it authentic, old school, and doesn't come with a drive-through regret tag. Also, optimize your nutrient ratios. Adjust your protein, carbs, and fats to fuel your goals. There are countless macro-based diets, such as like the keto, Atkins, and all the Mediterranean, to name a few, but I keep it simple. I just prioritize the protein. I keep my fats pretty high and my carbs pretty low. I'm not obsessive about ketosis, and I don't stress over calories from green or like fibrous veggies. They've never been a problem for me, so I don't even count them. But the real trap for me is condiments. It's easy to forget how much sugar and like extra calories are hiding in your sauces and dressings and marinades. But as long as you track your protein, manage your overall calorie intake, cut carbs before the fats, you'll be fine. Simplicity is key. The easier that you make it, the easier it is to stick to it long term. Eat whole foods. These regulate hunger and prevent energy crashes. For this, Sundays are my reset button. I batch cook meals so I don't have to think about food all week. I stick to whole single ingredients because they're clean, easy, and easy to keep on track with. For protein, choose chicken, eggs, fish, or beef. Carbohydrates, try like roasted sweet potatoes, white potatoes, rice. Fats, avocados, nuts, and olive oils. Veggies, spinach, broccoli, anything green. Bell peppers are quick and no fuss, and they're also packed with nutrients. I portion everything out, and just like that, I'm set for the week. Real food, minimal effort, zero excuses. And just don't crash and burn diet. If your diet feels like misery, it's not gonna be sustainable. I'd rather you stick to whole foods for half the week and enjoy eating out the rest of the week than to go all in for 2 months only to just stop for the next 6 months. Just be honest with yourself. If it starts feeling unsustainable, adjust. Please work with your cravings, not against them, and make it a lifestyle, not a battle. The key takeaways here: just eat real food, prioritize protein, and avoid fad diets for the love of your gains. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence is not an act, but a habit. Aristotle. Willpower is overrated. If resisting cookies was the answer, we'd all be shredded. Instead, make success automatic. Just make good choices easier. Lock away the junk like it's a cursed relic. Look, I've got 3 kids, and they want everything the grocery store's marketing team has ever dreamed up. Half the time, they don't even eat it. It just sits there mocking me while I try to do my business. The solution? Lock it up, toss it out, or just give it away before you find yourself in a late night showdown with a box of Frosted Flakes. And trust me, it's a fight you don't want to win. Fill the fridge with healthy options. Listen, if my fridge were left to its own devices, it would be a cold storage unit for leftover, takeout food and questionable condiments. So I have a rule: if it's in my fridge, it better be something that fuels me and not tempts me into a regret-filled snack spiral. Stock it with prepped meals and lean proteins and fresh veggies. That way, when hunger hits, your only lousy decision will be whether you want grilled chicken or more grilled chicken. Your success starts with your surroundings, so set yourself up to win by making healthy choices, which are easy because your environment should push you forward and not pull you back. So your key takeaways here is just discipline will beat willpower. Set yourself up for success. The first step towards success is defining what's actually sustainable. Lastly, here I want to emphasize the stark difference between lean and shredded. I aim for a sustainable level of leanness rather than a chasing ultra shredded conditioning. It's just not realistic or enjoyable in the long term. But if you're curious, here's a breakdown to keep things simple. Lean versus shredded, like beach lean, usually 7 to 10%, which is pretty lean. It's visible abs, muscle definition, and you can still enjoy life to a degree. But ultra shredded, that 4 to 7%, that on stage look where the veins are popping at the cost of eating sadness. Well, whether you're aiming for a lean defined look or pushing for that ultra shredded, let's dive into some key tips to help you get there without sacrificing your sanity. More muscle equals a leaner look. So your bigger muscles are, it makes your fat less noticeable. This gives you more wiggle room when chasing that lean or shredded look. I look to bulk up in the winter, and then I I trim down before pool season because, let's be honest, hoodies hide a lot. Genetics do play a role here, so you can't spot reduce fat, but you can kind of outlast it. This means that while you can't choose where your body burns fat from first, meaning no amount of crunches will specifically target your belly fat, sticking to a proper fat loss plan will eventually lean out those stubborn areas. Your genetics are what determine where you store and lose fat first. Still, with consistency, your body has no choice but to tap into these last, most stubborn reserves. The key is patience. So outlast the process and the results will follow. That leads us into patience consistency. Win the course. It's going to come off eventually. If you're serious about getting lean or even shredded, stick to the process. An innovative approach is to reach a lean body fat percentage and just maintain that for a month or two before pursuing it further. This gives your body a break and it helps reset your metabolism and makes that final stretch to being shredded more manageable mentally and physically. So just your key takeaway here, getting lean is achievable. Getting shredded is a full-time job. There are no shortcuts to any place worth going. Beverly Hills. Fat burners, myth versus reality. So, most fat burners are nothing more than overpriced hype. And here's the truth. Like fat oxidation boosters, carnitine, CLA, they sound tremendous, but they really don't do much for actual fat loss. And appetite suppressants, caffeine, yohimbe, they might take the edge off the hunger for a bit, but your body adapts quickly, making them short-lived solutions. The bottom line, fat loss comes from innovative training and nutrition, not magic pills. The only supplements that are actually worth your time, first is creatine. It's proven to support muscle retention and strength and performance. It's no gimmick, it's just results. If you didn't know, creatine is the king of supplements. With decades of research and countless studies backing its effectiveness, it's the most proven, science-supported supplement for muscle growth, strength, and performance. If you're only taking one thing, make it this. Protein powder, a solid backup plan if hitting your daily protein target feels like a full-time job. I keep a tub or two in hand for backup, but I really touch it. I'd instead stick to like grass-fed whey, and even then, only when I absolutely need it to hit my protein goals over real food. Fish oil and multivitamins, they cover your nutritional basis and support overall health, recovery, and longevity. For me, fish oil is one of those supplements that I don't always notice the effects of, but I definitely feel the difference when I stop. The benefits are real and the research backs them up. If you're adding supplements to your routine, go for like a whole food, multivitamins where possible, and just stick to the essentials. No fluff, just science-backed results. Key takeaway, there's no magic pill, just smart habits and real food. Can you build muscle and stay lean between 35 and 45? Absolutely, but it takes a focused, sustainable approach. The key is dialing in your training, nutrition, and your recovery because the days of winging it are long gone. Now, I want to hear from you. What's your biggest fitness mistake? Drop in the comments and let's keep the conversation going. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe and stay tuned for more no-nonsense fitness strategies.
Good, I want to
slab of meat.
Can I just save your appetite?
Can I just grab a piece of that?
No, well, probably could, but.
No, Dad said you had to eat McDonald's hamburgers.
No.
McDonald's.